Good evening. This is Monday, October 18th, 2021. The time is 5 p.m. I call to order the regular City Commission meeting for the City of Clewiston. Would you all stand for the pledge to the flag and the opening prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. You may be seated. We have any additions, deletions, changes?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Commission, we had a late request from Alan J., and it was, if we wait till next month, it'll be almost at the date of their event. So they've asked for a special event application to be approved for an event they hold annually, a sales event on the west end of town near the credit union. So the copies are there. I would suggest without objection that you add it to the consent agenda as item K and consider it unless there's questions or the departments have no objection to it.
So we'll make that item K on the consent agenda.
I'm good with that, yeah.
Everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the
So moved.
Second? Second. Motion by Gardner, second by Heisel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
No other changes.
Thank you. At this time, do we have any citizens here who would like to address any issues? Hearing none, we will move forward. We have a resolution this evening for Mr. Scheffler in reference to his 40-odd years of service to the city of Clewiston. Sean, you want to come up?
Travis. You take it.
Picture.
So this, Sean, is Resolution 2021-105. This is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, recognizing the retirement of Sean Scheffler, Public Works Director, and honoring you for 42 years of service to the City of Clewiston. Whereas on September 30th, 2021, Sean Scheffler retired from the City of Clewiston, and whereas Sean began his career with the City of Clewiston on February 1st, 1979 in grounds maintenance and was promoted to Public Works Director in 2002. And whereas Sean was awarded 2013 Director of the Year for sustained and exemplary performance, and whereas Sean has faithfully and conscientiously served the City of Clewiston and its citizens for 42 years, during which period of time numerous projects were initiated through his leadership and will continue to have a growing impact on the City of Clewiston. And whereas the City of Clewiston has benefited greatly because of Sean's leadership in guiding the streets, solid waste, public works administration, and parks and recreation divisions. He genuinely cares and appreciates his employees by ensuring all necessary safety standards are followed. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, does hereby express its sincere appreciation and gratitude to Sean Scheffler for 42 years of dedicated service to the city and wishes Sean the very best in retirement. This is passed and adopted in open session this 18th day of October, 2021.
Thank you.
Sean, thank you very, very much for
Can we-
the steadfast. One last time, and we won't throw you overboard, I promise.
I've had my shots.
Careful, there's the phone here. I've had mine, but not the rabies, so be careful.
Your parvo shot up to date.
There you
I'll
go.
join you too.
Yep. Act like you like each other, people.
Squeeze in.
I could still point to your knees.
1, 2, 3. Couple more. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sean.
My friend.
Congratulations. Thank you, Jimmy. Jack, if you would excuse me, I would like to say thank you to the commission. Thank you to the people of this community for allowing me to serve and to give to this community whatever I have to offer. It was always done with the heart of love. Still love this town. I still want to do for this town. So
Thank you, Sean.
don't take me off your list, and you write it in pencil, not ink.
Well, I'll see you. I'll see you on Thursday, right?
You're
I'll see you on
excused.
Thursday, right?
Something Thursday I'm supposed to be doing?
Sugar
One last
Festival.
time. For one last time, Sean, you're excused.
Y'all didn't come to send me to jail, did you?
Come on in.
But thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. We'll see you.
See you in the
around.
neighborhood.
Mr. Morgan, before I forget, there's a little hole in this floor right here
Oh, a hole
that
in
makes
the
it
floor.
almost impossible to navigate this chair. So we could do something about it before next meeting. I would
I will
appreciate
see
it
if I
very
can do
much.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm at that point now where if I don't say it, it's gone.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
writing it down.
We will move on to item number 2, please.
Yeah, and just for clarity, I assume the motion that was approved earlier included the amending the agenda to add K and approving
Yes.
the consent agenda in
Yes,
its
sir.
entirety. Okay, thank you. All right.
Agenda item number 2 is ordinance number 2021-01, public hearing, final reading. This adopts an amendment to the City of Clewiston Comprehensive Plan to change the text of the city's current 10-year water supply facilities work plan. City consulting engineer Andy Tilton presented the draft ordinance for review and recommendation by the city's Planning and Zoning Board. The Planning and Zoning Board met on June 14th, 2021, recommended approval of the ordinance. The vote was 3-0, and the board members Hathan Kaki and Donna Hughes were absent. The City Commission approved the first reading of ordinance 2021-01 on June 21st, 2021, and set the public hearing for July 19th, 2021. The proposed ordinance and 10-year water supply facilities work plan was distributed to the State Land Planning Agency and various other agencies for review on June 25th. On July 19th, 2021, the City Commission continued the public hearing and final reading of the ordinance to August 16th, 2021. On August 16th, City Commission continued the public hearing and final reading to September. And in September, we continued the public hearing and final reading to October. Comments have been received from the South Florida Water Management District. Staff is hopeful that action can be taken at the November 15th Commission meeting. Recommends the public hearing and final reading of ordinance 2021 be continued to November 15th. Do we have any citizens' comment on this ordinance? The recommendation is to continue the public hearing so that the comments can be added to November 15th. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Thompson, second by Pittman. All in agreement signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Hey. Just check it. You pay attention.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the gut check right there. So we have 4 aye, and then we have Mr. Thompson. Motion carried.
Make the motion.
Next agenda item is number 3, ordinance 2021-05. This is a first reading. This ordinance abandons a portion of the alley that adjoins the property of Robert and Whitney McCarthy. located 811 West Royal Palm Avenue. The applicants are requesting an alley abandonment located at 811 West Royal Palm. Planning and Zoning Board met on October 11th, 2021, and recommended approval of the alley abandonment by a vote of 4-0. Board member Mickey McGahey was absent. Do we have any citizen comments at this time? Recommended motion is to approve ordinance number 2021-05. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pittman,
Second.
second by Gardner.
And if I could ask the city attorney, I know that over the years, we've had alley abandonments and requests to come before the city. And just for all of us and for the public, what is the process? What's going to happen now if the city votes to abandon the alley? What will happen to that alley?
Well, half the alley goes to each side of the alley to the abutting owners. The city is reserving an easement for its utilities in this abandonment. So this essentially allows properties on both sides of the alley to use the center line of that alley for purposes of establishing setbacks. They can't build anything in the alley. The city still has the easement there. So that's really what it does. It allows each of the abutting property owners to use an additional 10 feet of their property that they would otherwise have to have in a setback.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion by the commission? We have a motion by Pittman, second by Gardner. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Just for the public's sake, this is the first reading, of course. This will be calendared at the November meeting for final consideration and a public hearing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Agenda item number 4 is Resolution 2021-110. This resolution approves the award of the United States Army Corps of Engineers Septic to Sewer System Project contract to Denco Construction Incorporated. Authorizes the mayor to execute the contract on behalf of the city. The city issued invitation to bid for the City of Clewiston USAC Septic to Sewer System Project on July 21st, 2021, to extend the city's wastewater system to provide sewer service to the existing United States Army Corps of Engineer facility at 525 Ridgelawn Road. And they're going to abandon the existing septic systems. 3 proposals were received and opened on August 13th. City Consulting Engineer, Johnson Engineering, Inc. Engineers have reviewed all the proposals and recommended awarding the contract to Denco Construction, Inc. The total amount of $977,736.21 was allocated from the USAC and is sufficient to cover the actual total cost of the project, including options 1, 2, and 3, plus Johnson Engineering and Corp's engineering fees. The financial impact is $886,630. That's the base bid, plus option 1, plus option 2, plus option 3. Do we have any citizen comment on this resolution at this time? Hearing none, the recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2021-110.
So moved.
Motion by Heislope. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Thompson. Commission discussion?
I just had some questions for the attorney, and I did call and ask him about it just before the meeting because I just wanted to make sure that with any issues that the city would not be left, so to speak, out there on this project. And I believe that the city manager and the attorney and, of course, the engineer have looked at it. So especially with any changes that they would have to be approved by the Corps of Engineers first. And so I just want to make sure because it is a concern. And the other concern I brought up was that because there's some adjacent properties, I just wanted to make sure as we go into the season that this project's not going to impact the local businesses during the season, and the city manager has told me that that's something that will be looked at and that there will be plenty of notice. I just, it's a great project. I just want to make sure that the local businesses around there that have given us permission to be on their property it's not going to be an issue. This project is not going to impact their business.
That's our expectation from the timing. We have an extra long contract period that's one of the purposes, to make sure that there's plenty of time in it so we can work with any scheduling. The work will actually be within the right-of-way, and it's a directional bore under the parking lot of the marina area. So it should have no impact or minimal impact on them in terms of, it won't impact their ingress or egress, or certainly their parking lot. And that's, unless Danny wants to add anything.
That's part of the bid.
Okay. All right.
They have to make sure that traffic still flows.
Okay.
in the contract.
I just wanted to make sure, because as we go into the busiest part of the year, and it's been tough, couple of years for these businesses, I didn't want them to be impacted. Thank you.
Any other commission comments, questions? Motion by Highslope, second by Thompson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
And just for the public's consumption as well as the commission, just a reminder, this has been a couple of years in coming, but it's really a good project for the community, for the lake, for everybody, to get all their septic systems that are really decades old converted to public wastewater system. And with their proximity to the canal and to the lake, from an environmental perspective, we haven't had any issues, but this will certainly take care of
Make sure that
minimizing the likelihood of it ever having one. So it's a good partnership, and we're doing it on the federal budget, so it has no adverse impact on the city budget, and some incremental increase in our revenues as a result. And they pay their bills, so that's always good. Thank you. And I appreciate all the agencies working together to get us to this point. City attorney had a hand in it, and we've had a number of meetings over the last year and a half plus. But this is a good one, and when it's done a few months from now, it's going to be a really nice addition. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Agenda item number 5 is resolution number 2021-111. This authorizes the city to apply for a state revolving fund loan to implement the third phase of the city's inflow and infiltration program. The focus for this loan is pumps, control boxes, a Vector truck, and temporary plant generators. Project is required by the Second Amendment consent order between the FDEP and the city. Phases 1 and 2 of I&I are complete. SSES helped to identify areas where the city sewers collection pipes were leaking. Phase 2 infiltration correction included manhole repairs, cleaning, televising, lining the main gravity lines. A proposed phase to deal with laterals was not needed. Funding to date has been via SRF funds with 80% principal forgiveness, and the current loan is the same basis. To obtain funds, the SRF program requires formal approval of the recommendations of the SSES, a loan application, legal opinion, and resolution from the governing body. Funds are available. Staff wishes to proceed immediately to apply for and secure funds. The resolution approves applying for the SRF loan to finance the infiltration correction project. Mr. Martin is hereby designated as the authorized representative to provide the assurances and commitments required by the loan application. When the city approves the loan agreement, the mayor is hereby designated as the authorized representative to execute the loan agreement upon receipt of same from FDEP. Do we have any citizen comments on this resolution? Hearing none, the city is going to borrow. Financial impact, the city will borrow up to $3 million, where 80% is grant eligible. City has been advised that the agreement needs to be executed by December 9th, 2021, or the funds will be assigned elsewhere. The funds do not have to be repaid until the project is complete. Estimated 12 months or less. The annual debt service will be for 20 years. The interest rate is currently under 0.6%. Recommended motion is to approve resolution number 2021-111.
So moved.
Motion by Gardner.
Second.
Second by Pittman. comments or questions by the commission?
Yeah, I'll just ask Danny, is there any other lift station manholes? Are they any included in this repair, or they already do that?
Yeah, it's gonna be part of it also.
Oh.
We're gonna look at some of the lift stations rehab. Part of it.
And they're gonna resize up the pumps to the proper sizes and all that?
Yeah, I'll give you a description. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go with one brand, and it'll be Flight pumps. And the reason I chose Flight, well, we want Flight because it's the best pumps, but the reason we chose that is it's part of Census. Census owns Flight. So I'm gonna tie that SCADA system, hopefully with the smart meters, into our pumps. So we'll get that whenever down the road. But, yeah, that'll be part of the project, is rehabbing some of the lift stations. And we're gonna remove some. They say we got way too many lift stations, and that's whatever, but we are gonna look at trying to eliminate some of the smaller ones.
Awesome.
Can't wait. Thank you for the truck. Hallelujah.
You mentioned that the function of that truck and the multiple
That truck,
purposes.
yeah, it'll help us on the public works side, of course, drainage, and it'll help fill holes. It does multiple things,
No more waiting, begging, borrowing.
and pain.
Well, we've been contracting, and during the COVID, when we had a lot of problems with the accumulation of those wipes and things, we spent thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in expenses hiring contractors to come pump them out.
Yeah, those things ain't going away either.
No. But we are getting grinder pumps, and seem to be working. That's something else we're going to do. A lot of the others, too, we're going to upsize some force mains. We found that we've got right there at Saginaw, we got 210s that's sitting in that lift station, but it's a 4-inch force main, so you can't. So anyway, yeah, so we're going to change that to an 8, and then also we found on Esperanza the same thing. We started out with an 8, but it reduces down to a 4. So some of those force mains we're going to change out. That's something else we're going to do.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
The beauty of this is it's a competitive program. We were fortunate enough to be selected for up to $3 million with 80% forgiveness, and hopefully we'll get close to 0% interest like we did on the last one. They don't commit that until you actually execute the document, but we think we'll be very close. And so it's going to have minimal physical impact in the bigger scheme, but the cost avoidance and the avoidance of fines from the state that are substantial, and just getting our house in order to have a wastewater system that's properly up to date and functioning. This is going to get us very close to the only thing left is the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, and of course that's the bigger challenge. But we've got to get all these things done in the interim to be able to maximize the use of our wastewater treatment flow capabilities for growth and other things until we're able to upgrade the plant and do an expansion of capacity. And so we're deferring those costs longer and meeting our obligations and our needs to the state under consent order. And the day that thing is off our back is a red letter day for this city. And we're hopeful to have that in the next year or so.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? We have a motion by Gardner, second by Pittman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Just for the record, I heard somebody drop in on our phone line. Do we have someone joining us on the phone?
We had someone from FMPA
Yeah, Alan
earlier,
there,
but
in case you guys had questions.
I think those items have been handled, so hopefully.
All right.
That's the only ones I'm aware of.
Agenda item number 6 is Resolution 2021-112. This authorizes the City of Clewiston to join with the State of Florida and other local governmental units as a participant in the Florida Memorandum of Understanding and formal agreements implementing a unified plan regarding opioid litigation. Do we have any citizen comments at this time? Hearing none, there is no financial impact. Recommended motion is to approve resolution number 2021-112.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Thompson, second by Gardner.
I have a question to Randy. I read the minutes from the Hendry County. is there specifics on the funding when it comes in on what, for the first responders and for the police
All
department?
right, at this point, what it'll amount to, as we understand it, it's not a lot of money, but it's a range between, what was it, $1,100 and $3,some hundred per year until it runs out for Clewiston. LaBelle will get a lesser amount based on the criteria they're using. The county gets a larger amount. The thought process thus far, of course, all we're doing tonight is opting to receive the funding and participate. You'll be given at some point a decision will have to be made by the city commission what we're going to do with it.
Okay.
But discussions have been underway with the county, and one thought was pooling our resources, since it isn't a lot of money, to try to find an agency like United Way, for example. I'm not saying that they would be the one, but some agency that, or agencies that deliver these services that are described in the agreements, to supplement them to create programs to address the items. It's not really enough money. You could do very much in terms of capital outlay, so more than likely it'll be for programs. But we'll come back with some plan that's discussed by all the different stakeholders and make a recommendation on what to do with the monies once they come in. And that might entail some sort of interlocal agreement for these funds over the next several years to go to this purpose. But they're looking at, and we've talked briefly during, I believe it was budget time, about the United Way presence here and what some of the things the county's looking at doing to provide more services in this part of the county in this regard. So it's an opportunity to enhance some of those.
On the United Way allocations call, that was a big topic.
Yeah.
Was extending the services beyond LaBelle.
Yeah. So we'll see how it all plays out. But to opt in, we have until January to opt in and be a player in it. And we certainly recommend we take our share and put it towards a good use. Because this is a serious problem in this area. And I know our law enforcement and the EMS and fire is in their rescue have witnessed it and see the evidence of it. So hopefully something good can come of it, these dollars that are being paid by those who profited.
I was
through
just
the
in hopes that
litigation.
it could go directly to the, first responders and to the police department.
And that might be where it ends up. But
Okay.
we'll
I mean, I
have
know
to
it's a
make
small
it.
amount, but I
Yeah,
just don't know.
And that was the thought that some have suggested, is if you pool it together, then they might be able to do something, because it's not enough to create a staffed position or anything like that, even if you pooled it all. So programs is what they're looking at, and who administers those, I don't think would matter, because there's some agencies that specialize in that for assistance to these folks, but we will obviously benefit through law enforcement and others by being able to do referrals and have someone to go to that's not 100 miles away or 80 miles away. Hopefully there'll be something come of it.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? We have a motion by Thompson, second by Gardner. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Old business. Do you have anything on that list for old business that you wish to discuss?
One item that's not on the list that has been requested previously that I'd wanted to report on is with regard to the organizational changes. I know Commissioner Pittman has communicated with me his thoughts on that, of having the board presented that. I'm hopeful that we can have a workshop in November, just finalizing the schedule, and present recommendations to the commission for consideration at a subsequent meeting to do the organizational changes, as well as other items related to the budget as we discussed it, for the transition in administrative personnel and so forth, and new positions and things of that nature. So I just want to I'll be communicating with each of you a schedule. We had tentatively November 1st. I'm not sure it'll be ready by then, but I want to communicate with everybody and see what your preference on the date prior to the November meeting to have a workshop. But that would be a primary topic for that.
Okay, that's good for me. November 1st works for me as well, so just,
Okay. Well, I'll communicate with everybody and see what schedules look like.
Because I want to make sure that you have enough time that you're comfortable with.
Well, I think I can be ready, but I know I can well, I will just,
Monday.
I will work with you and see.
Thank you. Any questions about departmental monthly activity reports?
I did want to follow up with one question on the to-do list. Did we ever get an evaluation of our old police department?
Travis, you want to?
We do have a walkthrough schedule with LIS Engineering. I would say within 30 days, we should have the finished report.
And then just a recommendation from staff and city manager. I'd like to just hear what their thoughts are on either selling it or utilizing it.
Yeah, you'll get that. Once we get the evaluation complete, we'll have an administrative recommendation on potential options, and we'll have a discussion and report to the board.
is it January 2022 that you have it on follow-up for us?
I
have
hope
the
we'll have
discussion?
this well before that, if
Okay.
not by then, but hopefully
Okay.
before January, we'll have it. But I guess it just depends on how long it takes them to get us. We don't think it'll take them that long to give us evaluation, so I may even have some update at a workshop before then. The goal is try to get if we'll make any decision,
Okay,
make it
and
by
just
early in
again,
the
the
year.
grant funding that we
Yes,
received,
that
and
will be
that was
one of the-
contingent upon.
That will be one of the considerations, is making sure we're in compliance with whatever commitments the city made once the evaluation's done.
Thanks, Mr.
Right
Martin.
now, as I informed y'all in the work, one of my updates, we're just using for some storage of equipment. That's all, just for space-wise. Otherwise, it's not being currently used.
I have a question on storage. I know that years ago, the adjacent building beside the fire station and EMS in the city, it used to be the original police station, actually.
Yep.
Then it was a radio station. I think it was before that was City Hall. There's storage there. Can you give us an update, put that on the list as an update of what's actually there and what needs to stay there?
Yeah, I just toured it. Travis just took me through it. That's the first time I'd been in it not long ago, and it's file storage and paper. We're going to be looking at that use of
years.
space. Is there another alternative,
Okay.
depending on what we do with some of the other public spaces, and also making sure we stay up to date in minimizing the storage, with other options like we do with some things on microfiche and all of those things, so that we can look at other uses of that space, because it's a
It's a big
pretty good
building, yeah,
space.
it is. And it used to be the museum as well, so it's served
Oh,
a
I
lot.
didn't know that.
The museum was there.
Yeah, Travis took me through, and actually it's in better shape than I anticipated.
Solid
Structurally.
building, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Nothing on activity reports either?
I'll say mine.
Okay. Mr. Martin, comments?
I just wanted to confirm, I haven't said it publicly, but I did to the commission, that we have now closed, and I want to congratulate the city attorney's office for affecting the process. We closed on all the lots that were for sale in Commerce Park.
Awesome.
And, we're excited about that. And
A long time
I know
coming.
Dylan was doing an update. Maybe he can give us a final update on that sheet that we gave you. And but that's another red letter day for the city. Glad to see
Absolutely.
that happen. And we're working with, as action you took at a previous meeting, with the developers for the various sites in there to move forward with construction.
Those lots sat there a long time. I appreciate your hard work on moving them. Thank you. Mr. Brandenburg, you and Dylan also.
Thank you.
Yep. Do you have any comments?
Steady as she goes, full speed ahead.
Amen. Commissioners, comments? Commissioner Thompson?
one consistent message I'm sure all of us are hearing is garbage, garbage, garbage. Can you give us an update, Danny, what we're doing to
Yeah.
get some of this cleaned up?
Yeah, while he's coming up to do that, I did want to mention we're evaluating our equipment situation. We've had some issues, and Danny's been doing some efforts to compare options, but we were not ready for that tonight. But he can give you an update on the efforts he's been doing and trying to organize the group to catch up.
So right now, we've got another truck, it's in the shop. We've lost the one grab loader deal, it's gone. We've got the one, and that's what's happening, we're running one truck. Now, we did use the dump truck and the front end loader to get us caught up, but we did find a truck that we can use, and it's in the shop, and we should have it this week. So we'll have one truck on the south and one on the north.
So that'll
we have
mean
been
like
short,
every
I
other
got-
week?
Say again?
Does that mean every other week
No,
you're,
no, right now, we'll have one on the south, one on the north running.
right,
That's
so,
something-
but does that mean every other week your house would get the debris
You'll have a
picked
truck
up?
on the north running every day, and then you're gonna have one on
Every
the
day.
south till we get caught up.
How about a grapple truck?
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I've already priced a couple of new ones, but, we didn't budget, but I think we can work it out.
They're pretty
But I'll
hefty.
tell you too, I'm looking at front end loaders. I've had two already visit us. I got another one coming tomorrow. We're pretty thin there. If we lose the truck we got today, we're down. So, that's fine, we're gonna be okay. I mean, we'll get it done.
Can we utilize any of those contractors that the storm cleanup that we have?
We've got some pricing.
We just re-signed the contracts
I've
with?
called
But it's
actually-
pretty expensive.
Well, some of it is, but
Some of them
I've
may be.
got where I can, if I have to get a front end loader, it's like 5,000 a month. It's not bad. And I can get grab loaders too, for about the same price. I had four companies, or
Yep.
three, I'm sorry. One was 4,000, one was 55, and one was 6,500.
Is that with a rake? Is that with a rake? Instead of a bucket, is that with a rake so you can pick it
No,
up?
it's a grab loader and a front loader.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for. We're pretty crucial. There's some things where I'm impressed with the ball fields right now. We hired a new guy, and I mean, he's really doing a great job. I mean, the fields have come a long way. So it's exciting. It's going to be it's doable. There's a great staff. So I feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
While
It's
you're,
just they got to get used to me, and I got to get used to them. My ways are a little different.
There's always a-
But, I don't want to step in and, no, you're going to do it this way. Just let the flow go. So, feel comfortable.
The ball fields, that's the same guy, you share him with the golf course?
No.
No?
We are-
Consultant, they are shared. He's talking about actual staff.
Consultant is,
Staff. Staff is different.
Nice.
while you're up there, mosquitoes.
We're changing that also. We're on a contract. We can't really, I don't want the plane. I want more ground treatment. And we're traps, I can tell you now, like the golf course, say we have 350. Saginaw, we got 50. Okeechobee Boulevard, we have 5,000. So what I'm trying to do, and I've met with the mosquito guy about 3 times, one-on-one basically, and say, look, I need ground treatment. I don't want the plane. I want more trucks. I'm trying to get a third truck. But again, we're under contract. But it has, you can see some improvement, but that's my personal goal is the ground treatment, the tablets,
How are we billed for that, Danny?
through utility bill.
No, I mean, how did they bill us?
It's a unit price for
yeah.
the various services, but we estimated how many we would need.
Yeah.
Budget-wise, we're in pretty good shape. but-
The reason why I ask is, one thing I've observed repeatedly is the speed of those trucks. I don't see how they're effective at all. They're really moving.
Well, they're on a.
They're really slow.
One thing we've learned, they're on a GPS and they are monitored. So if we see that they're not consistent,
I'd be checking on them because
Well, no, if you see it, let me know, because they are GPS.
multiple times they're moving.
One of the things I didn't like about the plane, that's what I didn't like. When I looked at his speed, it's 180 miles an hour. I mean, that to me is, my God.
Well, the plane, that's really not so much the issue as the time.
Yeah.
They spray Lee County and all these other counties, and then they come here way after dark, and the mosquitoes aren't out.
Well, that's what we've changed. I'm sorry, I missed that one. We've gone to 7 o'clock. They were, you're right, coming about 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I told him, no, we want 7 to 9. If we get 3 trucks, we're done at 9. With
Yeah.
2 trucks, it takes us to 10.
I got
One thing
more.
one thing we learned in our meeting, because I sat in this last one, because I hadn't been in a meeting with them previously, but Danny invited me and I sat in. There's some technology. It's amazing, the technology. How they count these things is unbelievable, but it distinguishes between moths and mosquitoes, if you can believe that. But head count that way. But one thing we found out is the use of drones for the distribution of some of the material. And that's a particularly useful thing potentially around the perimeter of the city where you got farms that's got old dirt roads, that's got ruts and water stands. We're looking at that. Is that a potential revision that gives us another way to fight some of those? Because that's what you got the situation with perimeter, some of the high count areas.
Lee County uses helicopters very
I've
effectively.
asked for that too.
Yeah.
But he's not moving forward really on that. So we're looking at all that. And actually, I'm going to reach out to them. I may even go over there and just see how they operate, because they got a lot of water, a lot of mangroves, they're just like us.
They're really on top of their mosquito issues.
So I will check in like.
And we're using the same company, so there's a lot of synergy. When we've always tried to coordinate flights with the county, but as Danny said, we want to get more bang for our buck. And if we have to increase the contract, we'll come back to you. So far, the budget-wise, I think we're in good shape.
Because up on Okeechobee with the foliage and that it's wet up there, you've got to really
Yes.
do that ground
Yes,
break, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Around Walmart also. It's bad there also.
At the marina, I've seen people get up and leave their food on the table.
Well, Raymond had a problem. I talked to him about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, with their system.
Part of that is not. We don't want to get into it tonight. Is their situation? They have some equipment that they apparently just hadn't been effectively using, and just recently found that, and so. I've been there and experienced that, so I think they found out that unless their staff does exactly, I don't want to be critical because it's got nothing to do with the city, but they have a unique situation there, as you know, being right on the water and trying to serve food outdoors is challenging.
And then my last issue for you, do we have a plan for the pool?
Working on that.
Is there-
I've reached out to 3 companies, trying to get some funds, see if I can get some grant funds. Just to think, actually what I'm gonna do is probably look up the old bids and reach out to this particular person for, see if she can help me get some grant money.
Are we going to ask anything from the legislature to do
Not
that?
for that this year, but we're going to apply for state grant funding.
You know, we've talked about it being the oldest
Yeah.
swimming pool in the state. Is there any way we can get that designated as a historical site? There's a lot of funding for.
If it is advantageous to us, it might hinder
Right,
what
because
we
you
can
have
do.
to
We got to
keep
be
it-
careful of that because the design is one of the issues from the health department's feedback we got when they told us we couldn't use it in its current condition. Is there's, and I won't get too technical about it, but there's the way it's designed. We've actually had a child get an arm caught in it. It's got a trough that goes around the perimeter. And Travis told me last year, I guess before we closed it, we had a kid got hung in it, and that is not allowed under the current design. So we'll play that, but we've looked at a couple of angles. One is a state grant, similar to what we're getting at Trinidad Park for the playground, but it'll be a big one. It's not going to be a small project. And we've looked at other potential sources of funding other than the obvious of whatever the city can contribute towards it. But I hope we'll have some sort of plan ready for the next budget cycle and have these applications in and hopefully hear back on funding.
We looked at maybe partnering with a county.
And that's one. Well, I met with the YMCA recently, talking to them about summer programs, and we certainly will talk to the county and see if there's a way that we can partner on that.
And maybe, I mean, for us, it's historical, and that facade is, to me, part of what the pool area looks like. And I think that as we look at it, if there's any way to preserve the facade.
Yeah, hopefully
at the
we'll be able to
front.
keep as much of it as we can, but the pool itself is where the real issue. It's porous. It's having issues. It's leaking. But it's an expense to just have it sitting there. You got to maintain it, whether it's used or not.
Yeah.
So it's something we definitely got to make a. And Danny's already jumped on it.
Yeah, I want to make sure we don't sit on that.
No.
And market on Bond Street, I think was a real success.
I agree.
Several of us that was able to attend it. Looking forward to the next one. One other thing, we had a discussion on the country club agreement, and Mr.
Yep.
Attorney, City Attorney, you requested the contract. Were you ever able
Yep.
to get that?
Don't believe I've received it yet.
I think we sent, but we'll double check. But
And I lost it.
it's well, I think it's almost a non-issue. There's an out clause in it when I read it, 60-day out clause. So, you
Well,
know,
Commissioner Pittman brought up a good point. We need to make sure that we're not out of pocket or losing money.
yeah,
on these
he
facilities.
communicated with me, and we're going to take a look at any similarly situated. He and I are going to have a further conversation on that because I had a couple
Well, I thought it's
questions.
peculiar because I think that's the only building the city owns that don't have a line item for maintenance.
Yeah.
How much it's costing us for maintenance.
And I think that's because the contract, they are required to do the interior maintenance.
They're
I think the
required
exterior
to,
is all we do.
yeah.
Well, that would be a reason for,
Yeah.
to be able to account for maintenance of the outside.
But I think all we've done since I've been here is cleaning and painting. We haven't done any. They did a roof before I came. I think it was a hurricane.
It was hurricane,
Yeah, that's the only major item that I'm aware of during recent years. But
Wasn't the recent painting
it
donated?
was donated. Yeah, we didn't pay for that. That was all donated for the whole facility.
So are we gonna take a look at that?
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna take a look at that contract?
Well, in essence, that's what it says. Is you have an ability to out, but it was renewed on the automatic. But it's 60-day out clause. But we'll communicate with the attorney and take a look at it. But it's up to the board whether you have any desire to discuss changing it or getting out of it.
Is that something that we can put under old business and have it on there and get a follow-up?
Sure.
And that way we can track it that way?
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, I
Martin.
got a copy of it. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, the clerk sent it out to everybody, I think. So.
Yeah. And it does say automatic renewal.
I have it.
But again, it's a 60-day out to either party, as I understood it.
Well, that was one of the things on my list, was not just the country club building, but any building we lease out. We should have a job costing on everything, and maybe you have it, I don't know who keeps that part of it through work orders or whatever, but if we don't have it, then we need to start doing it. I mean, the people that rent the Sykes building, just whatever building we lease needs to have a job costing for the year. So we can find out, are we losing money, or do we need to raise the rent? Do we need to bulldoze the building? I mean, we can't lose money on these buildings we're leasing. We can't do it. We're running a business here, I mean.
Agreed.
So
Well-
that's why we need to,
The only point I would make on that is if they're doing a service is deemed, and that is the purpose of the lease, was that they're doing a service that is either supplementing a recreational type program or something else. I guess the one that I'm thinking of in that example is the one that does the dance classes and CPAC. If you acknowledge that they're doing a service that the city might otherwise have to provide and they're doing it through volunteers, then I guess I would see that as something that the city might invest in that program.
and I'm not
But-
talking about, I'm saying,
Yeah.
we just need to see the job cost.
Yeah, you can look at it and
If we're
make that
donating
evaluation.
$10,000 a year to CPAC, then the commission will decide if that's okay
If
or
that's
not.
appropriate or
And
not.
it may be.
That's right.
I mean, that's.
Same thing.
Right, and then,
Absolutely.
you know, it's
Citizens
nonprofits versus for-profit, there's a
Right.
difference, so.
Exactly.
And
And one,
I still would like to name that building after Bubba Raymer. It was kind of put on the back burner, then changed. We're gonna put criteria in, then it was just dropped.
I owe you a draft policy
Yeah,
on that.
it's on
Yep.
the old business.
Yep, that's one of the items I've got to get
I think
to.
it's on the list somewhere.
I would like to move forward with it if we can.
Do you have anything else, Commissioner Thompson?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Commissioner Gardner, got anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that tonight we did the proclamation on Lights On After School Day, and I know Utilities is working on something that we do have an after-school program through the YMCA at the elementary school, and it's a great program. I haven't visited in a long time without YMCA, but and United Way, but I know that it is a benefit to many families to be able to have an after-school program here in town. And, I wish we could expand after-school programs, not just for elementary school, but for middle school as well. I think this is something that's very necessary to help out families. So I know it's not my decision, but we approved the resolution tonight to just, it just shows how important it is the after-school programs are, and just not the care of the student, but helping them academically as well with homework and things like that. So I agree that Bond Street, the market on Bond was a great success. I look forward to others, and also I know we have some pictures from our recreation event on Saturday night at the City Park or the Sugar Festival Park. It was very well attended, over 200 people. It was a nice event, so congratulations to the staff putting that together.
I concur.
Anything else, Commissioner Gordon?
I'm good.
Commissioner Heisler?
I want to echo the fall festival thing, and also I want to note how lovely the fall decorations are in front of Civic Park.
They are.
I know that was an anonymous donation, if you will, to the community, and it's greatly appreciated because it's beautiful.
And when I walked into City Hall tonight, also
Yeah.
very nicely done. Yes.
Same volunteer.
I want to get with probably you, Travis, and discuss. I have some permitting questions. It looks like we have work going on in some of our local places that I haven't seen come up on the permitting list. So I want to ask you a couple questions about that. Mr. Martin, Interim Chief Lewis, how does the city plan, how do you plan to move forward with that position? What are we thinking?
I met with the chief today. Ironically, we had a lengthy discussion today, and I will be.
It really wasn't planned.
I didn't. We met this morning, had a couple hours, and we got a good catch up. I'll be briefing the board in my updates on some of the items that we discussed. We're making significant progress on a number of fronts, and he and I discussed a schedule for the next steps, and I will be giving you a recommendation update in the very near future on that.
May I ask a question? Is that going to be part, I know that we talked about organizational changes and just overall departments. Is that something that we'll discuss at the November workshop as well?
That one I think is more of an update on my part. It won't be anything that would require commission action on that, but the other stuff will on job descriptions and pay grades and new position changes. But I can give an update at that time for the board as well on the status of that.
I had jotted down a note about the market, which everybody else covered. It was great. I had also jotted down a note about debris pickup and trash, which that was already discussed. What about our recreation position?
I think I briefed y'all that I made an offer, person considered it, and then turned it down. So I've reopened it and getting ready to do some more interviews. And so
hopefully we can get somebody
hope to
promising
fill
there.
it soon.
And I want to thank Randy we hosted the South Florida Ag Foundation. We hosted a congressional tour last Tuesday through Friday. And Randy did come to have dinner with us. It was the electeds dinner, was Tuesday night at Staghorns. And we had myself and Randy and Commissioner Emma Byrd, County Commissioner Byrd, and County Commissioner Raymond Iglesias. We had 9 congressional staff members who visited and stayed with us throughout the tour. We had the Federal Affairs Director from Florida Department of Ag and Consumer Services, as well as the Presidential Fellow from FGCU's Water School. So, and then we had Miss Peterson and her kids work with us Wednesday night. They all kind of run together. Yeah. But Randy did a great job of representing the city, well
Thank you.
during that. So we appreciated that.
And I apologize for not being at Staghorn. We also had something that night too. Every night
good.
last week we were out and doing.
Yeah.
So did you have anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Commissioner Pittman, last but not least?
Okay. Yeah, my wife really enjoyed the market on Bond Street. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I got some food out of the deal.
And we saw her there.
Yeah. I'd like us to look at the ordinance we discussed earlier. And I think it's an ordinance problem. It's not a staff problem or anything about having non-tagged, non-registered vehicles on commercial lots when they're being repaired. I think our ordinance is a little outdated on that one. Just something to look at and review. Right now, you can't have, we'll call it a junk car for now, a junk car on a commercial lot. You can have it on an industrial, but not, and if I'm wrong, y'all correct me, you know that know the ordinance better. You can only have it on the lot for 72 hours. Well, you can't fix a car that's been smashed in 72 hours if you're ordering parts. So I just want us to look at it to see if we can massage it, make it more, you know, friendly for our commercial repair shops.
You know what ordinance that is?
No, I sure don't. Maybe Travis may know off the top of his
But
head.
the conflict is related to the junk car definition, and so I've met with the code officer, and Commissioner Pittman had brought this to my attention, and so I met with the code officer, and I'm going to be talking to Travis about it as well to see if it's an interpretation or a true conflict, and if so, because it is unreasonable for any business that's repairing those vehicles to do it, and so it may be we need some conditions, but to prohibit it, require them to remove it if it doesn't have a tag within 72 hours, it does seem unreasonable.
Yeah, and I'm just, if you guys would look at that.
Yep.
And then when we look at that, I think also you have to take in the neighborhood, because not all our commercial lots are on Highway 27.
Yeah, and
So I think that's
buffering
something that
from-
has to be looked at on the
That's a good
impact on the
point.
neighborhood.
Yep, neighborhood impact. So particularly buffering if it adjoins residential, those kind of things. Does it have to be in a fenced area? Those are some of the things we're going to look at.
And then my other thing was, I know the mowing, I think the mowing contracts come up end of the year, I think. I noticed that the city is now in the mowing business, and you may have gotten in it before I got on the commission this time, but I noticed we have mowers again. When at one time we selected to get out of the mowing business and contract everything, maybe keep one mower for touch-up here and there. Then I noticed, and I know we had a lot of rain, but I've just noticed a lot of our vendors this year maybe weren't keeping up because the contracts maybe weren't balanced between the north and the south side.
Danny can give you an update. He's met with them and a couple of times. And
Yeah,
We've actually met with them on the second day I started. I told them I was not pleased. I didn't like how they were leaving. Did not like how they mowed 27. They were mowing over paper. They left, we got maiden cane at the end of town. It looks bad, so this individual, he came through town again last week, and I went and followed up, and he did not follow what I asked. So we're going to have a meeting probably Wednesday and discuss it again. And of course, the contracts, they are coming up. But, you know, my thing is, and that they were saying that, hey, it's raining, it's this. I said, well, you know, it's Florida, and you know what you got to deal with. So to me, that's no excuse. You know what you took on, and you're not supporting this at all, not very well. 27 to me looked horrible. You got grass growing over the curb, and when they edged it this last time, it's still hanging. They're not blowing. Down Royal Palm, they didn't blow at all. There was dirt everywhere, dirt on the sidewalk. I got a picture of Francisco right there at the crossing. I watched the guy weed eat it, sat and watched him. There was 2 big gulp cups. He hit him with a weed eater, and he kept going. So I left. I thought, okay, I'll give him an opportunity. Somebody may walk through or whatever. I gave him a couple hours, maybe somebody with a blower. It was all day I picked him up. So that's why we're meeting, I think, Wednesday.
Do we have one company that does all of our city parks?
one on each side of town.
Okay. Okay.
And what Jimmy's saying, we have taken on, which I'm not sure why we have. But I'm going to look into that also. I mean, we have to pull a mower, take a guy, and he runs over and mows a couple of small parks.
But even those aren't being done well.
No.
One contractor, one of them has improved since you met with him, but we're not, there yet. But,
Well, we got half of our park weeded.
yeah, well, that was one of the
I
examples.
was like, that's.
That was one of
I
the
think it was
examples.
worse when the whole thing was grown up.
He's the guy.
That was one of
Yeah,
the examples that Danny used.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that because it does make a difference.
I'm having fun.
All right, it looks like it.
Yeah, stay there for my last comment.
You're gonna need to wear tennis shoes
Just
next
something
time.
else I've noticed is potholes and street signs,
Yes.
which I know you've noticed it. And I know we bought the sign machine years ago, and it doesn't make as good a signs as the ones you buy that are stay up there for years and years, because I think it's a different material that we have to use to make our signs. Anyway, long story short, maybe we could either improve our material we're using. I mean, they look good when they were new. It's just
Well, we
that,
gotta get consistent too. I mean, we've got letters like this, letters like this.
yeah.
And one of the things, I mean, this is just throwing it out there. When meter readers go away, meter readers may become a sign shop. Okay, so there's, again, Mr. Martin and I have talked about this for months. This isn't something, hey, you're gonna take over when Sean leaves. This is, he's talked to me and asked me to look at things, and I kept quiet and I just looked. And these are the things I look at. Again, I'm not happy, and we're the ones maintaining the canals. The guardrails are under grass. And I look at the ball field, at the big field, there's a vine growing up on the baseball backstop. Those things irk me, but I'm not saying anything. I'm just watching and see how it plays out. There's little things I see every day that you guys see, and I want to see how it takes shape and to give those opportunities to step up. If they can't,
Yeah, we've talked about the signage. We actually interdepartmental cooperation is going to be a new venture that Danny's coordinated, getting other departments to notify us when they see a sign is faded or covered up by a bush. Everybody that's working the streets can communicate that, and we
Eyes
can,
and ears.
we
know
actually
he's-
got one from an officer the other day, which is great.
Yeah, so
Called in.
he's already implemented that cooperation, and that's going to work really nicely. And the thing I'm concerned about with some of the signs is, do they meet the new requirements for emergency service response? Because they're not as reflective as they're required to be now. Size-wise is the other consideration. So if we don't have the equipment to do all of them ourselves, we can do some, but he's got some good ideas about using our resources differently, but we've got to have a better job of monitoring and maintaining. And we talked about, we may not be at DOT's level. They have these electronic stickers they put on their signs. Danny and I figured we might have to do the old football way with tape and write it on it, but we'll figure out some way to keep these signs, because you have legal liability if you don't have stop signs that are reflective. There's all kinds of liabilities there, and we want to clean up our act on that.
And Mr. Martin, I like that you said about all the departments working together to take care of the city. It can't just be one department or doing this and one department doing that. It's working together. And, what Danny shared tonight, I think it's very good.
It's a start.
No, that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
It does take working together, and that starts here, and I've seen a change in that lately. I think that things are become a little more cohesive. I think we're moving forward in the way that we need to, and I think that direct reflection to the citizens is being noticed, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. So, with that being said, it's that time. Do we have
We
a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn by Pittman, second? Second by Highslope, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Go home. It is now 6:03 PM. Thank you. Chief, I would like to see you before you go, if you don't mind.
Me too, Chief.